Hey! Welcome to my channel. I'm Rosie, for those of you who do not know. I have made a couple videos in the past. They're a bit shit. Go ahead and watch them if you want. They're quite embarrassing. But it's been 2 years since then and I'm a completely different person. And I've wanted to get back behind the camera for a while, and you can tell by the timestamp that we're in a bit of a pickle. I have so much more time. So now is a perfect time to do it. Because all the videos I want to make is all about me shedding wisdom from my experience and things that I learn. I love learning, so like a good way. Of course learning is a good thing, but I read a lot, I love philosophy, I think deep, I like having deep conversations, and I want to build a community for that where we can share our opinions, our ideas, we can talk about it openly and open-mindedly and not judge one another and be fully accepting and loving of one another. That sounds a bit hippie-ish, but it's a good way to be, so you know. But I'm also going to be doing videos on books. Books are my biggest passion in the whole world. If you know me, you know that I'm a writer. I'm currently working on some interesting stuff, but we will talk about that many months in the future. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about books and shit to help you with your mind and be a bit more sane in this current climate. But you might be watching this in the future, and I hope you survived, I hope you're good and you're doing alright. But anyway, this video is about mental health and more to do with the meaning that I have found in mental health myself through my experience of life and having it, because there's huge misconceptions about it out in the world, and I look back at my past behaviour and I see other people making the same mistakes, and this is the hard thing. You can never say to someone, this is how it is, act like this and you'll be better, because we're all on this journey, building this journey that we're on in our life every day, day by day. Is a bit like a day is a brick in our journey basically, and we can only do for ourselves. We can only figure out how to make the right choices for ourselves, and it's quite a tough thing. So I wanted to share my kind of meaning on that. Okay, so my battery died. I'm sorry. So if it's a little slightly different angle, I am very sorry. But anyway, I'm talking about my the meaning I found in mental health, and I really think that can help people to kind of realise the journey to recovery and the journey to kind of making yourself better, because there is no end result. And I think that's the first thing. The first misconception is that when we have, or we believe to have, poor mental health, we believe that, or we look for a quick fix, and that it's something that like we're cursed with and something that we're gonna get through and there's gonna be completely green lush grass on the other side, and there is, but it's a lot of hard work and there's no quick fix. So that is a huge misconception, and I used to be one of these people. I'm not going to go over details of my experience, but I wonder if I would say some things, and I wonder if any of you can relate or have seen something similar. So when before, like, I've suffered with mental health growing up, and then I hit rock bottom. And this is as a journey to hitting rock bottom, and the journey in itself, the only thing that can get you out of that is yourself, and realising that is like the most important thing. Because I used to sit there and I used to think, poor me, I have anxiety and I have depression, I have a mental health problem, all of you must tread eggshells around me and not upset me, which is absolutely bullshit. And what it does, it just puts a block between you and recovery, because who the fuck like projects? I mean, we all like do it, I do it, I've done it, I see people do it, but like in reality you can't make a safe space or like control your environment. I mean, you can make a safe space to a degree, but you can never control your environment. The world throws so much shit at you, and there's so much existential tension out there in the world, and when you have things like anxiety and depression, at first they're just feelings, and they can become worse. But you're the one who chooses how to deal with it, you're the one who chooses how to react with it. And trust me, by saying, this is my environment, we need to make this a safe space, you're not going to help yourself, you're not learning how to be in the world, you're not learning how to deal with all the issues that life throws at you. So what you need to do, you need to control what's in here and in here, like all your feelings, everything you feel. You can't necessarily control it and say, I'm not going to feel shit. You have to come to terms with it. You have to understand why you feel shit, and you have to understand your own mind and how you react to certain situations and how you are with certain people. And then you create this bigger picture. But this thing, like I said, it's like this big ass journey that we've all got to go through. So things like anxiety, like the feeling of anxiety, what I've found is anxiety is this feeling of dizziness because you have a choice. You have life. You have life telling you one thing, then you have yourself and how you feel, which is a completely different. And when you feel anxious, it's because you're conflicting. You're conflicted between the two. And you get really dizzy. You have this choice and you don't know what to do about it. And you start thinking, what if that? And then you think about the future and your mind goes elsewhere. And when your mind goes elsewhere, you can't actually deal with all the shit that life gives you, all the problems that you have. You can't deal with it because your mind's elsewhere. And poor mental health, or I call it poor mental well-being, is making shit choices leading down to breaking down your life and making it unlivable. Because I see a mental health problem as, I'll get to that in a minute actually, because then there's depression. And depression's another feeling, and again it's to do with your choices, because well, in my experience when I've been a little bit depressed, it's because I felt trapped. I feel trapped in a situation, or I'm grieving because I've lost someone, and it's a really shit situation to be in. But with that, if you start looking back and you start thinking, poor me, this is going to happen, I have no hope for the future, then again you're going to learn how to make shit choices for yourself. It's all about choices. Your whole life is made up of your choices. That's how you drive your life and direct your life, and behind your choices you have your feelings and how you feel about things. So understanding about how you feel about life and situations and understanding the world has a huge impact on how you feel and how you make your choices. Huge thing to fucking remember. So the mental health problem. So this is a thing. I used to say, poor me, I have anxiety, poor me, I have depression, and didn't really do anything about it, put up this big like shield, played the victim, and by saying I had a mental health problem, I gave myself a mental health problem. I hit rock bottom. And yeah, there were other things in life that threw at me, which put me there, won't go into that, but it was how I was at that point. I wasn't strong enough to deal with it. And in life, you always have to try and bring yourself to the present moment so you're strong enough to deal with whatever life throws at you, because life is completely out of your control. And you just have to deal with it as it comes. Not in the future, not in the past, as it is. So a mental health problem for me felt like I started to drown. I had all this anxiety, all this depression swarming around my head to the point it became so heavy and heavy and heavy and heavy I started to drown. And I could not breathe anymore. And I became a living corpse. And I was numb to the world. I couldn't hold down friendships. I couldn't hold down relationships with my family. Even if I've been single for a long time, enjoy it. But even if I had a relationship, I probably wouldn't be able to hold that down. I couldn't even hold down a job. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't shower. I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't enjoy living. And that's a mental health problem. And you know, in this period of my life, the one thing that got me out of that and made me wake up was really, really simple. And it was being in the present moment. I just had this urge. I was so depressed. I was so worn into the ground. I wasn't myself anymore. I was a living corpse. And it was a really hot summer. And there was no rain for weeks. And then it started to rain. And I was staying in the countryside in England somewhere. And I had this feeling of just running out into the rain, taking my shoes off, dancing in the rain. It was the first, thought I had, and it saved my life basically. And I felt the mud under my feet, and I felt the rain on my face, and I was alive. And just that feeling of being alive gave me the motivation to get back on track and to get back on that bloody journey and deal with it, because that's just what we have to do. And that is the hardest thing, I think, because it's so easy to draw an identity around having a mental health problem, to draw that, to attach to it, because when you attach to it, it's so easier to do that, it feels easier to do that at least, than to actually look yourself dead in the eye, in the mirror, all the ugly, all the nasty things about you, that make up you. It's just scary. It's like you have an ego. We all have this ego that we have to battle every day. That's part of our mental health journey, battling this ego. And it's fucking scary. We all have dark parts. We all have flaws. And it's not a bad thing. It's just part of the thing we have to look at. And then when you accept it, it's easier to live with. I mean, it's easier to have relationships with people. It's easier to live in general. Your life quality becomes better. So, you know, when next time you're feeling a bit depressed or feeling a bit anxious, don't say, ah, poor me. Just think, okay, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to make my life better. So it's like, what you do, you start making yourself feel good. You do things and focus your attention on things which make you feel good, as little as they may be, whether it's taking a bath, going for a walk, or reading a book. For me, it was also dancing. I love cooking, and then like dancing some like reggae in the kitchen. Perfect. Like, just brings me up in such a good mood. Focus on those things, because then it's like baking a cake and you start sifting out the shit. And who wants a lumpy ass fucking cake? Not me. And then you're like, all right, you see the lumps so clearly. You're like, he's a knob, he's gone out of my life, this situation's not serving me, fuck that. And then before you know it, you're in the process of making a better life, just like making a cake. Your life is the cake. What fucking cake do you want your life to be? Trust me. Yeah. So that's kind of the meaning I found in mental health, essentially, in my time. I feel like there's a million things I want to say about mental health, but that was kind of the main thing. And just to get that message across, because you have the power to make your life whatever you want to. It's all in here. And fear is just this big ass illusion. I think I'm going to do a whole video on how I think fear is an illusion. I'm going to do so many videos. I'm excited for this. I've got such a fire and such a passion for just like making these videos now. I mean, I'm going to make one about books this week. I'll do a fear illusion one, but if there's anything you want me to talk about, please put it down in the box below. I'd love to hear what you think of what I've said, what you want me to talk about, and also share your experiences. I'd love to hear your experiences too, so that would be wonderful if you could do that. And I think I'm going to stop talking before I dig myself into a big waffling hole, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to have a swig of my tea really quick, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Green tea. Anyway, but have an incredible rest of your day, whatever you're doing. And yeah, thank you for watching my video, becoming a part of my community. Subscribe if you like. I don't know, throw some shade at me if you like, I don't really care. But anyway, all the love and peace and harmony in the world. Take care, darlings. Mwah.